Something about you, it was in your eyes, my demise. I felt you in my bones, break into my fall altogether. It's not below you're there. Shit, just stay. For fuck's sake, just stay. Rather burn a quiet raging fire within me and ignite you instead. Hey, let's be clear, you deliver me. Pale face, you glimmer of hope. You wrecked me. You wrecked me. You wrecked me. You wrecked me. Even now, you offer quiet silence, seek to pale. You already destroyed me. Some conversation threaten your well-being. Throwing lies like daggers. No consequence this time, for real this time. Back against the wall, and you're still playing pretend. Marionettes can't save you. They go up in 10. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping?
Doritos, people, I am here. Yes, I am now live streaming under the development closed beta Q&A. We're having a special stream tonight because of the announcement that we made, of course. So we're here to answer any questions that you might have. But first, we need some mandatory Doritos in chat. David is with me. Hello, David. Can he even hear me? There you go. Hello.
Oh, hello. Dope Doritos in the chat.
We need all the Doritos.
Depressing stream. Depressing music, maybe.
Yeah, it's the music. It might not fit the current. Hold on. Let me find something else. Actually, this music is by CA and LA, two girls from California. They're very great composers, filmmakers, artists, and they decided to, I don't know, just work on some original music about Outbreak. So they actually played something earlier today on their stream. We're just gonna go and see them a bit later. Hold on, let me put something else. I agree. I would change it maybe.
Make sure you can use.
Yeah, I wonder what
copyrighted
kind of music we can actually use.
Nothing that. Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's if you want to put music, there is service for that. Pretzel Rock does a wonderful job licensing music for streamers. Otherwise, just stick with the CA and LA that we have the right. Well, we can use.
Yeah, I'll just lower it because I want to be able to talk and hear everyone.
Hear everyone.
Yeah, hear the chat, guys. So, welcome to the stream. I know it's not the best news that we posted today. It might cause some reaction from you guys, like something like this. Oh, hold on, it doesn't work. Oh no, it doesn't work. Okay, never mind. Everything's broken.
Classic.
David, can you speak French, or is that a different part of country?
Mark and I are both French.
Yeah, we both speak French. That's why we have this accent.
Accent. My cat is coming to join the stream. You can see him. He's just welcoming everyone. Big baby. As we wait for more people to join in. There he is.
Gaspard. Yes, it's a fluffy beast. I don't know if you guys noticed, but his cat, Gaspard, is same colors or almost as Doritos.
Yes, he's really.
So Doritos in chat, I guess. Hold on, let me post some Dorito.
Let's hope my cat doesn't walk all over my keyboard. And he goes on the bag. Gaspard, the Dorito. Yes. Ah, yes. Amazing. My cat is really wanting attention now. Nice voice changer thing.
Yeah, I even showed the whole thing.
Yeah.
So what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Guru.
The regular one?
Huh?
The regular one?
The regular one. I'm a regular kind of guy. That's a boring statement. Yeah, my greatest quality is that I'm really regular.
Yeah. So should we start by talking about what's in your background? Because I can see that the first letters are EA. Does that mean that we've been acquired by EA?
Confirmed, yes. This is my production
Oh my god.
I didn't see him, and he just
Yeah,
He just
it's actually the EA Sports branch that acquired Outbreak because they considered it as a sports game. Obviously,
no,
we're
seriously, this is
kidding.
the early access board. So it's basically what we plan on doing before early access, like our must-have. Basically, uh, it's really like the bare minimum before we get into early access. Obviously, we're gonna be a live game, so as like we're gonna hit some milestone where people will be able to play it. So the first one would be like we're gonna have some internal testing, and then we're gonna go to closed beta, then we're gonna go to early access before we reach to an official 1.0 launch. But then after that, we're gonna like it's a live game, so we're gonna still develop stuff and add to it and everything as the after the launch. But we identified like or what is the minimum viable project for Outbreak so that people can start playing it. What do we need? What order? What priorities and stuff like that. So um, this is really important in game development. So we can take care of the important stuff first, and having like a good visibility on what's ahead actually makes us like take smarter choices. So this is basically the stuff. So we have like the game loop at the top with what everything that it requires. We have progression in gameplay and the world and the worder.
You said the word.
And yeah,
Uh,
stuff and like what is going to
yeah, because
next.
of that user Werther on our server, he's always around, so we talk to them all the time. And this guy, uh, he's made me say Werther instead of weather a lot of time. No,
Worder.
it's a joke, of course. Yeah, yeah. Where's Werther anyway?
So the goal of the stream is basically it's a Q&A. If you guys have questions, you can ask in the chat. We're gonna answer them, um, and we can share some stuff that we're working on in the meantime. Um, so, like on my side, obviously, I've been working a lot on the world. People that are my cat is just singing loudly in the background. Um, So, oh, nice. So this is where I'm currently working on. Um, basically, if I'm gonna bring this into my screen, we have our Trello here, and this is what we're currently working on. All of this is getting. I'm gonna show also our Discord. How can I hide our chat? Maybe I cannot. Let's do this. And then as you can see in the development update, this is our Discord, and every time we do something in the Trello, which is our management board, it gets posted to the Discord, so everybody can see at any moment what we're working on and what we recently completed, and anybody can go look at our development board here and see what we're working on and what we will do next. Um, so
Speaking of which, maybe you can leave that on the screen for a while because we can explain what were the tasks of the company we're working with, the game studio basically we're working with for the
yeah.
all the networking and the multiplayer aspect. They have their own cards in our Trello, and you probably noticed during the past weeks that it didn't move really that part. So
Mhm.
that's just because of the delays that they announced
Yeah.
us to us. So it's been a while since they worked on it, and that's just because of unfortunate events in their company, and it happens all the time. So we kind of have to deal with it, and other than that, they're doing a really, really great job. We're just gonna have to wait a little bit before they start working on it again. But you can see there what they're currently doing, or what they will be doing when they start working again. David, maybe you can go over them. I don't know if it's even something we should explain one by one or not, but
Not really. I mean, this is a public board. People can go look at it. It's the our team that we're working with did like the all the subtask for this. Um, so if you guys are curious, you can always go look. Mostly, the main point that we want to really emphasize is that yes, this caused a delay on our projected timeline for you guys to have access, but it doesn't cause really much delay on the game itself. We're still working at the same pace, Mark and I, on developing the actual game, and this hasn't been slowed down. So we're still progressing very well, as you can see on our different tasks. Uh, like recently, you can see like I've done about 2/5 of the map in the first pass. Uh, Meaning like once all the map has received a first pass, it means that like everything is drivable, everything like has like it's populated with house building, and like there is like point of interest, stuff to look at, stuff to be destructed eventually. um, so at this point we will be comfortable of having like other players starting to roam in this world as we start like with the second pass of design. uh, if you if you want to see a little bit, right now I'm redoing this. Uh, I'm going to show top down the map. So this is the entire outbreak map, and this corresponds to what I've posted in the Trello right here. Um, so you can see the name of the cell here and what has been done in first pass. Right now I have actually another task that I'm working on because we changed our road size to be a little bit more comfortable to drive on, and we integrated a whole new bunch of commercial buildings that are ready for destruction. Um, so that's a big part of like I have to now a little bit like start over, but it goes really really faster because I just have to update what has been currently like being there. So can show a little bit like this is an in progress first pass. This is what you can expect from like a first pass, let's say main road thing in a city. The buildings are there and you can have a little bit of like intentions, and you can see like how um, let's say I have a little vehicle here that I can just place to see how maybe things will look like eventually. So you can see a little bit like driving will look a little bit like that. Obviously right now I'm in my work scene, so it doesn't have proper like lighting. You can see my grass is all turned off for performance reasons, just when I work in the editor. So so this is kind
yeah.
of
And
what a
if I
first
can
pass.
add something, like David said, that we reworked the road sizes for this, for mainly for the cities.
Mhm.
That's because we started doing some driving tests. So whenever we push an update, we there's a build that's automatically generated, so we can actually launch the game as it would be in a final product or whatever, and then we can start driving around. And we did find that it felt a bit hard to drive on the roads because they were too small. So we changed the size a little bit, and that's what you can figure out by doing some driving tests like that.
Definitely. So like for example, I can show a little bit. Uh, I can load a little bit more spaces and show a little bit what a real first pass looks like. I'm just gonna move over here and load this part. So a lot of behind the scenes stuff right now. We're showing the editor and how do we work.
Let me just read the chat right now. I saw that Akia asked what happened actually with the company. It's not really our place to say the details and everything, but let's just say like they lost an employee, so they had to dispatch the remaining ones to do what they had to do first, and the guys that were working on Outbreak had to basically go and work on some other stuff first. They hired someone or some people, I don't know how many, but right now they're just um, getting back on track with all the projects that they're working on, and they estimated that they would be able to start working on Outbreak again by the end of the year, and or like January 2021. But they said it could be earlier, but they can't make a promise. So it's just to let you know, guys. Let you guys know like where we're at with this situation. But other than that, as you can see, we're still able to work on everything on our side because, you know, we hired them to work specifically on the multiplayer. So in the meantime, we can just work on the world. I can work on the Werther.
So this is just a very small village that I made. You can see like right now there is grass is activated, so you can see a little bit how it looks like. My cat is going crazy. It's the party in here. Commercial section here, gas station here.
Your cat is destroying your house.
Just pushing things down the on my desk. Can use this opportunity to showcase a little bit the nice tool you made for me, since I have some roads that are not connected right now. Mark did something amazing for me to help me connect the
So
roads.
imagine having to connect the roads manually by placing, you know, you can see the waypoints there, and you could move anyone like you want, and it moves the road. But then we want them to connect to the connectors, right? Obviously, right now it's just the grid, the connectors, but we're having our modeler just work on them right now, and we're just gonna replace the meshes, and it's all gonna be automatically in this scene. So what I did is a bunch of different options for David to choose, and he can then connect any road that's nearby, and it's gonna fix the whole thing. And it updates the traffic lights. It updates. You can choose stops.
I broke it.
You found the, yeah, right.
Yeah, it's just not updating. But it's fine.
He can have stops just on one side or on the four sides and everything like that. I made someone die in Minecraft.
Worth it.
Suppose those traffic lights are what they look like in Quebec. No, it's more like what they look like in some places that we've been studying and in the plains, basically. I think I was looking at some places like Woodward, Oklahoma, and stuff like that, and or smaller towns actually, because our towns are not that big. But they're they're look-alike. We don't expect to have like the exact traffic lights that they're having there, just like we're not having the exact buildings of an exact town. But as long as the feeling is good, I think we're on good. We're on track. Where will the terrain be deformed by the storms and debris? So we're having a very, very big world, and that's a lot of resources. So we're streaming the world constantly. So basically, everything is just loaded and unloaded around your position. So you don't load the entire world because your computer would not like that. So affecting the terrain would basically require us to store a lot of data in the network, and that would be a problem. So it's not planned right now to terraform the terrain when a tornado passes, but of course we're gonna affect the vegetation at some point and have the grass like removed or just bent on their sides where a tornado passed. But yeah, it's the whole world is not using voxels like because I saw someone's talking about Minecraft's world where you can modify the terrain like you want, and that's because of a technology called voxels. So it's like all your world is composed of, it's basically 3D pixels, right? So that's not what we're having here. It's more it's another technology that's mostly used in open world games, and it's just a bunch of terrains and yeah. Yeah,
Someone is asking if the
KY.
traffic light works. Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do. They're having their own cycles. Stops works too. You can stop. So yeah,
But
he
I'm
just
showing right
clicked
now
on
as well.
connect roads and everything connected together, as you
Yeah.
can see.
So instead of having to eyeball it, moving some points, Mark did something that I can click connect road and all the roads get connected with the connector here. The terrain also get leveled with it, and it tried to run terraforming also on the roads. As you can see, it bends the terrain like this. And after that, we have a second pass on the terrain, a second script that goes fix those little scenes right here. So instead of having to paint it manually, it's all done automatically. So that's a lot more strong, a lot more robust because it doesn't. It prevents a lot of errors. Because if I would have to do it all manually, obviously at some place I would mess it up, and it means that it will like create bugs. But now that if it's all handled this way, um, you won't like get stuck on connectors and stuff like that. It's all perfectly aligned.
It obviously takes a couple seconds to process everything, but
Yeah,
it's quite fast compared to doing it all manually.
yeah.
You know,
Doing
when
it
you're
manually.
working on such a huge world, you cannot rely on placing stuff manually. So same thing goes for tree placements. It's all a script that's doing that. You could probably just re-terraform this road and we'll fix that.
Yeah.
Thanks for the new followers.
So this is a little bit what the first pass looks like. It's mostly intentions of where things are and making sure that all the roads are properly connected, and that so you can drive through like from anywhere to anywhere. Um, so once we have this state, we can start like having some weather events going on, and you will be able to chase them and not be blocked by something that is in the well. We plan on having relatively realistic driving, so meaning that you cannot just go on the grass and cut through the roads. That won't be possible. You're gonna scrap your car. You're gonna not be able to drive. Just like real life, basically.
Mhm.
So that makes like having our road set up even that more important. So as soon as like basically I have done a pass on all the world for all the roads and all like the little point of interest where are the village, where are like the like we already set up like how our vegetation will look like, where it's going to be placed, or major like point of interest such as like the canyon and stuff like that are already placed. So it's like we have a good sense of the scale of the world and where things are. And so now we're starting to drive in this, and we are figuring out what works and what doesn't. So basically like we figure out that our rows were too narrow to be comfortable, so we decided to kind of tweak this, better do it early than too late.
Yep.
um, Maybe is asking, will the environment be able to be destroyed by vehicles, players, and not just the storm, like fence building, etc., and will the vehicle have soft body physics or visible damaging? Yes, we are planning on some having stuff like if you drive through a wooden fence, it will break to a degree, and yes, you're same for the same answer for the vehicles. You're gonna have some soft body physics, again to a degree. We're not making a destruction like a car destruction simulation.
Yeah, it's
We
not gonna
want it
be
to
as
be,
funny, or well, it's not gonna be as realistic as Beam NG, but it's about the same kind of technology. It's just we're probably gonna have less damage, than less visible damage than what it would be in real life. Just because we want it to look good without having to spend like thousands of dollars on developing this feature, Dirt roads. Will there be dirt roads?
I'm in front
I'm
of a
guessing
little
there would be.
one right now.
Yeah.
You can see a very small dirt road right here. We're gonna have much bigger ones. I use them in two instances, either to do small branching like this of stuff to look at in the distance that don't really matter, or kind of shortcuts kind of things. Right now, I don't think I have. Oh, maybe in the
There's one that
no.
goes down in the canyon, but it's in
Yeah.
the. Mm.
You can see here like the roads are loaded a little bit larger than the terrain. You can see here like there's a town here, but it's you can connect through a dirt road.
Yeah, so in some situation, you would like to go faster to that road on the right side of the screen. So you would take the dirt road, but if it's wet, or yeah, if it's raining and everything, then it's going to be harder to drive on, so it's going to be a bit slower. So you have to take that into account. How's the weather determined? So it's not like missions per se, but it's scenarios. So we're using real weather data to create our scenarios, and it's basically playing a situation that happened in real life, or some that I can create from scratch also. But you're gonna be able to see the weather models data for that day. So you have to make your own forecast, or you can also look at the official forecast that would be like the equivalent of the SPC, and then you just look at the radar and start chasing and planning your route. So the roads are really uh, they're like you're seeing, and I mean the dirt road are there for a reason. It's not just for aesthetic or anything like that. So there's a goal in why we would place a dirt road at some place, and it's because it can be like a shortcut, but there's a downside to it, that it's going to be more it's going to be like harder to drive on.
Maybe it's asking how will the player will be introduced into the world. Will we just spawn randomly selected spawn point, or will
Mhm.
we spawn in a specific place like house building, or is it too early to say? Um, right now, our current plan is that at the beginning of a match, there is a random spawn point that is being selected. Spawn point being our gas stations,
Yeah,
and
spawn
all the
locations are
players.
all going to be gas stations, but
yeah, all the players will spawn at the same gas station and start from there. So it's gonna be random. It's gonna be random, but the same random for all player in the scenario. So everybody starts from the same gas station and then check the weather forecast and go chase from there.
So since our world is not like 6,000 square miles, uh, then we're adding some sort of, you have to start there and make your decisions from there. So everyone starts at the same place, and that's that's making it more interesting.
Uh, Whoops, sorry is asking, can I ask what will happen if you
Mhm.
accidentally drive until the end of the map part? How will be the behavior? Hopefully, you won't be able to fall off the map. Gonna create like some collision kind of thing to prevent you from going. Uh, so
So
ideally, like obviously in the beginning of right now, if I take a car and drive off, I just fall infinitely. But when you're gonna have the game yourself, you're hopefully you won't be able to
So the thing that we're probably going to do is, well, first it's gonna look, uh, it's gonna look fine when you reach the edge of the map, or the, well, let's say on the road. Then the road will be blocked, like if there was some sort of road work or whatever, and it's gonna basically tell you that the road is closed from here. And if you decide to just keep going, you're probably gonna have something like, instead of just ramming into an invisible wall, we might just add some sort of zone where it just tells you to go back to the game zone. Because I don't think it's really nice to just suddenly collide with a invisible wall.
yeah.
Hold on.
Bimkid is asking, will the chore be sometime green? I don't know what that means.
I think he means the core, as in the storm's core. Right now, the way we, the way I created the visual effects for the heavy rain, it I actually didn't plan on doing like different colorings according to the lighting, but it just happened. So like I pressed play at some point and just was driving around, and this core was really intense, and I started seeing some green coloring just because of the transparency and how the lighting works. It just made it a little bit greenish by itself. So I'm kind of happy because it's like, oh, I might have done something right, right? Um, how big of an area will the map load around you, if that makes sense? Will there be long field of view, or will it generate like 100 yards ahead? So you're only loading, I think. I think you're actually loading for the terrains. You're loading, let's say, like 500 meters around you, and then for a further away, like field of view, you're actually rendering fake terrain. So it's like low polygon meshes of the actual world. So you're just not rendering the entire terrain. So that's very much easier for your computer. But obviously, in a storm chasing game, you need to be able to see very far. So that's kind of the technology that we're using. Is just we're creating like fake versions of our world. So when you're looking at it from a distance, you don't actually see the difference. I see the worders here. Surprised to see no questions about roundabouts.
Storm Wolf is asking, in the case of making a plan on your chase, is there if there is about how much if there is about how much time someone
Brain exploding.
I did my best. I did. Maybe you can try reading it better than me.
Yeah. So I think he's asking if there is an amount of time that you have to make your decisions before missing everything, or so I would, if that's your question, I'd say that it's we're planning on having like a time limit during which you can join a match. After that, it would be a bit too late for you, so it wouldn't be fair. So you have like that amount of time of pre-game, let's say, where you can look at the weather data, plan your chase, and start driving before anything interesting really happens.
He clarified how much lead time until storm fires up.
Yeah, we're gonna have this value that we can basically change. So we're gonna tweak that when we start doing tests with actual players. So that's gonna be probably with the closed beta players actually. So if you have access to the closed beta, you're gonna be the one telling us like it feels a bit too short or it's too long, and then we're just gonna adjust it so that in early access and then 1.0 it's gonna feel really good.
Maybe he's asking what will the map mainstream be, empty grass field, farmland, or will the map be divided up into different sections? It's going to be different section. Right now, you can see if I place it
The
north to
north is the blue, so yeah.
yeah. So we are like this. So all the west and south is more arid landscape, and like mainland north is grassland, and we have a bit of Dixie Valley at the east with the coniferous forests. So we have three big kind of signature areas along this kind. This is kind of the biomes. We have like one big area where it's like the canyon with more rocks and stuff like that. That is like big point of interest. And at the south, we have a big lake with a big river, a bit more like beachside marsh style kind
Yeah, the
of.
big lake would be the equivalent of the Gulf of Mexico, but
Mm.
obviously smaller in that case. So the coniferous forests will be in the eastern part and mostly to the north, while the southern part will be more what's the word for the other kind of trees?
Coniferous. Oh, okay, you mean the
Aciduous? I don't know, something like that.
les feuillus,
Yes.
leafy trees. Will exist natural traffic? Can we expect that NPC don't drive unconsciously into the tornado? Not for initial release. Evidently, like doing AI stuff is extremely costly. So hopefully, just the other players will create enough like realistic life for our initial release. Um, and but it's still like it's in our long term plans. We really like to see to have this in the game, but it's extremely costly. So
Yeah, that's why we had the AI part of our Kickstarter as a stretch goal, and it was, I think it was like at the end of the list or close to the end of the list because it's really
Mhm.
expensive to develop, especially in
Yeah,
a multiplayer and huge world context,
yeah.
because you gotta
You can't fake anything.
sync
You
all the
can,
traffic for everyone, so everyone needs to see the same cars at the same place, but then you don't want to render all the traffic at the same time. It just needs to load it around you. So that's a lot of things to think about. And yeah, so we didn't reach that stretch goal, but as David said earlier, we're gonna do a live game, so we're constantly gonna improve it. So at some point, when we reach 1.0 and everything's working fine, then we're gonna start adding that kind of stuff if we have the funds, obviously.
Slappy Joe is asking, will the sun go over the sky in like a cycle the longer you go? or is there a scenario time limit? How can you say continue to hunt continuously, or is it like one storm per scenario?
So it's not one storm per scenario. There can be multiple storms and also multiple rounds of storms. If we decide to do like longer scenarios, maybe we could do like special events where you chase for several hours. But one scenario is 1 day of chase. So at some point when everything starts being not interesting anymore, then the scenario is going to reach its end point. Were Was that any more questions about that? Hold on, I just want to make sure I answered it. And
Yeah.
yes, the sun will go over and, to the sky. So if you look up and look at the sun's position, it's going to make sense and it's going to move through time. Will the world
Will the
be
world be
regenerated into its original state? Yeah. So basically, it's like a lot of online open world match-based games. When the chase is over, you go back to your garage, you can buy stuff, you can upgrade your vehicle or just change its look and jump into another game. And then when you jump into another game, then the world is brand new, just like it was the game before. So you can still, like, if you saw a tornado and you don't want to keep driving and chase like the next one or whatever, you can still drive around and go see the damage if you want, of course. But we're not doing like a persistent world where all the damage is still there, because after a couple games anyway, it would be all destroyed.
She's asking what's the maximum speed the car can reach in the game. It's going to be tweaked. Right now, it goes to like 230 kilometers an hour, something like that. It's undrivable. It's still way too fast. We're going to just
It's
balance
just
it
values
until
that we can
February.
tweak. So if it's the same thing as I was saying for earlier, not early access, but even closed beta. If you guys start driving one car in particular, and then you find out that this one's not driving fast enough or too fast, and it doesn't make sense that car drives faster than that one. It's all things that we can tweak very easily. It's just one value, max speed, and then the way that the engine is working, we can have like multiple settings for gear, the amount of gears and stuff like that. So we can all tweak every vehicle to feel as good as possible.
Stormwolf is asking, what about people who do not have the hours of time to play? We're gonna like our general scenario timeline are going to be obviously balanced to a comfortable spot so that people can just like the session time is going to be balanced obviously. um, Also you can kind of leave at any point even in larger scenarios. You don't have to end, you don't have to be there when the scenario ends. You can exit. Like we still have to design exactly this, but you can kind of, if you're safe, you can exit and keep your points. So if you have to go, you can just like, we still have to decide how, but let's say you get to a gas station and then you can say like, all right, I'm done in the chase, and you keep your points that way. So we're gonna have some kind of ways for you to exit early and keep your points. But when we were talking about hours of chase earlier, it would be for exceptional events, like really special events, something that we're gonna announce, and you're gonna queue for like a long term chase or something like that. It's something we can support, but it's not gonna be your traditional like quick play. I just want to, like, if you just open up break, join a game, it's not gonna be a hours long scenario. Um,
And
how
people
many
join.
different type
Oh,
of vehicle do you hope to have at release? Uh, at release, if we talk about 1.0, we don't know yet. It's gonna be hopefully a lot. I mean, we're planning about 4 or 5 different really types of vehicles, and then we're gonna have a lot of variation of those types. So we plan on having a sedan type, SUV type, truck type, and armored type, and
And then maybe
possibly
an extra one
yeah,
for like supercars and fun stuff like that.
maybe exotic or supercars or muscle cars, stuff like that.
And then
So
each variation of that type of vehicle will be treated like skins. So you have the truck category, and then in that category, you're gonna have a lot of different models or any brand or different looking vehicles, but it's all gonna be like skins.
the ultimate player is asking, do we know about minimum requirements? Not at all. Oh, throughout the development, we really take care about like the burden of our technology. Every time we take like a decision, it's like, is it the most optimal we can like do it? Obviously, we made some big decision with our weather system to make it as like performance friendly as possible, and we are like we try to make the game as accessible as possible, especially since we know there is a lot of like weather enthusiasts that are not necessarily gamers with like big PC and stuff like that. So we want to keep the game as accessible as possible. But that being said, we're making a huge game, and we will only know the like where kind of we're gonna land in terms of requirements much later in production.
Mm-hmm. Can people join after a scenario started? Yeah, as mentioned a bit earlier, you probably weren't here. There will be a time. Well, there will be like
Cutoff.
a cutoff time for you to join a game before it's too late, and then you're gonna have to join another one. Because if you start the chase, if you just join a server where it's almost over, it's not gonna make sense. You're just gonna have a bad time, just driving for 30 minutes, and everybody's already seen a lot of stuff, but you won't see anything, right?
Is there any item shop for like equipment? If so, what stuff do you think will be in it? Um, we're still designing this. Obviously, we're gonna have hopefully a lot of customization options. So it's not like core to our experience, so we haven't much worked on that yet. Right now, we really want our weather system and our world to be amazing. But we are building our technology and our like all our infrastructure to support a vast
Mm-hmm.
a vast amount of customization options like paint color, rims, light bars, gold
Decals.
bars, decals. Um, we also have like bubble heads for inside of your car, stuff like that. We really want to have kind of ways for players to really design their cars like they would in real life, and feel like it's their kind of their own. um, and we also have like we are dabbling with like progression as well, like not having stuff that is only cosmetic, or how do we keep player engaged into progressing and becoming better. But we're still like kind of in the early stage of design for this part, like upgrading your tires, upgrading your engine and stuff like that. We don't want to step too much into the RPG side of the game. It's really important for us to like the weather is the most important thing, and but we want to give kind of those axis of progression to kind of make your chase worth something that you can reinvest into your
Mm-hmm.
car.
So we had an initial design for that, and it was already working and implemented, where you can upgrade your vehicle and change the cosmetic items. But then we kind of we reworked it a little bit so that it can be more. It makes more sense, and we're still working on it, obviously. But the goal is to have a closed beta where you can chase as soon as possible.
Mhm.
And then we're gonna have time to add the player progression and everything like that. But at first, it's gonna be like, let's play the game and start tweaking the values that we need to tweak first. Make sure that the weather feels nice, that the immersion is good, and then after that, we're gonna have the progression added. We don't plan
He's
on having
asking.
modding support.
Yeah, it's very complicated to do that kind of stuff, and it's
Yeah, it
like
would require us to put a lot of time on making sure that you can mod it, and unless you want to wait in a couple of years before you can play, we're not going to do it. I just want to say also thank you for everybody's understanding of the current situation. I think everybody understands what's happening and why we're delaying the launch. Obviously, that we didn't want that, but at the end of the day, we're gonna have a great game anyway. So that's cool.
will there be Steam achievements for the game? We hope so. We just it's not a priority right now. It's something that like we have a great kind of sandbox to create some very nice achievements for the game, but it's like it's not much in our priority right now. We have to kind of choose what we work on first. Like I said a little bit earlier, like we have this board in the background where it's like our must-have for early access. Obviously, achievement is not part of this list, but we want to make sure that like we really often discuss kind of what will our break become. Like we have our short-term goals and our long-term goals. Um, it's like really we discuss this kind of stuff frequently, and when we design like the early parts for the early access, we always make sure that we have space for these long-term plan to fit in. But obviously, like it's gonna be much later on when we start integrating this.
Thank you for your kind comments as well, Zach. That's really nice of you, and well, thanks to you because I know you. I recognize you from the Kickstarter backers. I know you've been doing your own artwork for the. I think you got a decal. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Uh, maybe. Yeah. Oh, you're 200. That's nice. Very nice. Thank you so much for your support and also again for your understanding the situation. And yes, a Werther is Werthering in the chat. What if I show some of the rain
Bobby,
effect?
yes, yeah, you can take the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
show your stuff.
So this is a test room. That's why you're seeing this colored thing. Let me just it looks like Unity needs to warm itself a little bit before I can use it. Happens all the time. There you go. So why this room, right? Well, it's just because I needed a lot of colors, different colors, as much as possible, so I can test the effect and see if it looked good in all situations. So if you're seeing something green, if you're seeing a lot of light, or if you're in a darker area, it needs to feel good. Right now, I'm in editor mode, so that's why you're seeing all this weird stuff and the gray windows. But let's just jump into it and see how it looks like. Apparently, it's Werther's house.
Not gonna argue with that.
So let's just start the test room. You should have the sound as well. I'm just having this free cam here that I can move around. Let's just have this controller here that's going to be controlled by the weather. So when you're driving, it detects the amount. It's actually even in dBz and decibels, just like in radar. So when you're driving in an area where there's rain, this thing here will move by itself. So now it's starting to rain a little bit. If I get closer, I know like right now I'm in the editor, so it might be a bit pixelated, but if I get closer, you can see the quality of the drops. There's also the little sound design that I made for that. I'm gonna make it a bit bigger. And let's raise this. And then I can show you like what happens if the vehicle is moving at a fast speed, because that will affect how the drops look like. So if I'm driving at full speed, then it looks like this, right? And then of course, you need some windshield wipers. People are what? Sorry, the sound is very loud.
Yeah, they are saying the sound is very loud.
Okay, let me lower it. Oh, Unity's doesn't like when I alt tab. Okay, I'm just gonna lower the rain. Oh, actually. There you go. Gonna feel better now. And now let's put this at 3. So the way it works, if you're interested in the nerdy part, it's actually rendering the wipers and doing the trailing of the water in 2 dimensions, and then it's projected on this window thing, and that's the result. So yeah, the rain is quite realistic, I agree. And it's I'm very proud of this. It's made by our artist, the same that did our cloud shader. He's David Miranda, and he's amazing actually. He did fantastic work, even when at first he told us like, I don't know if it's going to be possible with this version of Unity and everything. And then he found a way every time to make what we needed. The hail sounds, they're in another work room. Maybe I can set that up. And all the sound is in 3D, so every window generates some impact sounds. So when you look around, you can hear it, and it's not static, right? So yeah. Yeah, and all of this can be tweaked. Someone's saying perhaps the water removal from the wipers could be enhanced. Yeah, it's all a matter of performance. I can probably do different settings for that. But the goal here is that water makes it harder for you to drive in heavy rain, right? And then the wipers are gonna help, but to a point. So you have to slow down when it's actually impossible to see in front of you because of the strength of the rain. So it's part of the gameplay. It's a gameplay element, so we put a lot of effort into that, and we want to make sure that it feels right. And just by hearing, I think the sound is helping a lot, but I think it's very good for immersion, all of that together. Thank you, man with a cap. Really appreciate it. I think I missed a bunch of questions, but that David answered them.
Yes.
Gaspar Le Chat.
Yes, I crashed.
Of course you did. It's probably the stream and Unity editor. It's crazy the difference between playing anything in the editor or versus playing it in a build. It's much smoother. And on top of that, I'm using OBS right now to stream my screen, and it always affects because I don't have a capture card, right? So it affects the frame rate, and it makes it lag a little bit, especially that it's in the editor. So that's why. But it's gonna be smooth. More crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hectic Dan, we really liked it, and I hope to see more. Oh yeah, the thunder is here also, and then everything's filtered. So every sound that's coming from the outside, from outside of your car, is filtered to feel like there's actual windows blocking you from hearing them fully. So it's helping a lot with the immersion, I think. So you only hear like the rumbles, but then you have your engine, you have the interior of your vehicle. That makes a difference also. And then when you get out, you hear like the outside, the outdoor sounds a lot better. I even made of course, when hail breaks your windows, then the outdoor sound is back to your ears. Yes, it's gonna be great ASMR, I think. I can't wait for the first streamer to just sit in a storm and relax. It's gonna be a new category on Twitch. Outbreak
Slow
ASMR.
chasing. It's just
Mood
following mood.
mood chasing.
Yeah, I can see like some videos where like time lapse style a little bit. Just park your car into a nice point of view and just let the stuff go
Watch a
by.
storm. Yeah.
Do you have other stuff to show, or do you guys have any other questions? Um, We're rounding to about an hour of streaming right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna go in my
Obviously, we're
playground and
talking.
see if I'm having something to show.
Yeah, obviously. We have some question in the
Yeah,
chat.
knowing that a tornado isn't that easy to see, are you thinking to spam easily? Tornadoes are probably spawn, or most like every single supercell we're going to be. Not all storms are going to be tornadic, so you need to pick. Sometimes you're gonna have like easier or more intense scenarios, while some others will be like, I don't know, like 5 storms, and then only one of them becomes supercellular and produces because of, let's say, an outflow boundary that maybe some players will spot, but some won't. So that's part of the challenges. Vehicle fuel and fuel consumption rates. Yeah, yes, it's gonna be part of the game. So the spawn locations are in gas stations, and you're gonna be able to fuel your vehicle, and it's gonna cost you money. So at the end of a game, it's gonna be deducted from the money that you made with your chase. And oh, the question's already gone. And yeah, different vehicles are gonna have different fuel consumptions, size or rates.
Mippy is asking how many players are you hoping to fit into a single match?
Mm-hmm.
We can play with that. Mostly, it depends on how comfortable it is. We're gonna increase the number as we do tests. Basically, right now we're thinking about 12, 16, something like that. But obviously, we're gonna tweak like as we play it. Like we haven't. Obviously, the whole reason of this string is that the multiplayer is delayed, so we haven't tested any of these values yet.
I can show maybe what I was talking about. The sun going down.
Karashi is asking, should I've added the lake so you can have lake breezes? We're gonna have water, like areas of water, like a big area at the
Yeah,
south,
there's gonna be the
of the
Gulf.
river.
Yeah. Will you be adding raindrops in the car outside? Yeah, David and I were talking about it because because of, I mean, it looks really good, the rain, as you saw. But then there's no drops on the car's vehicle, the car's exterior. And we decided that at least for now, it would be strictly for driving, for the driving experience. Uh, it's a lot. There's a lot of things to do in the game that will require your computer to calculate stuff, and we're tweaking everything so that as many people as possible can play the game. So I don't think personally that rendering drops on the outside of the vehicle is a thing that we should do, at least for now. We should save
There's
our
also the fact, yeah,
resources and
there's also the
only
fact that if
only
you are
only yeah, I think gameplay first, and then we'll see after.
if you get outside of your car to look at rain on your car, it also
Mm-hmm.
means that like it's gonna be raining and you're gonna see the rain effects, like
Mm-hmm.
the, an environment rain effect. So you won't like be like it won't look like super hot that you don't see things on the car itself because your view will be obstructed by this environment rain anyway.
Yeah. So on the outside of the vehicle is more like a cosmetic thing, yes. While from the inside of the vehicle, it's gonna affect your chase, and it's the important part of it. So yes, it looks good. We're really happy about how it looks like, but it needs to be it needs to make a difference in the gameplay first. And when you're outside, I don't think you're gonna mind that you're not seeing the drops everywhere, because you're gonna have a lot of effects going on around you to ensure that you forget about it.
Isaac is asking what are the cars in the game right now. But right now we only have one car playable because that's what we need. um, so if
we
you
have
answer
a
your question right
we have
now,
different. We also have a Dominator. We have
yeah.
a sedan vehicle. We have a bunch of them. And there's some of them that are in progress, but
Mhm.
there's also going to be the cars from people in the Kickstarter who wanted their car in the
Yes.
game. Obviously, not going to be in the first open closed beta, but
It's
we're
on
going
our
to have their own
production
car.
plan, but
Yeah.
we have to de-risk like the main cores of the game before adding cosmetic pieces.
Your RTX 3070 is sweating. I think he just wanted to plug that he has a 3070.
Yeah. Hopefully you won't require like that beef of a GPU to run Outbreak.
Yeah, I
You'll
mean,
have
I
something
have
on the
myself
side.
a 1070, and I'm running Outbreak really fine. But it's not the game is not ready yet. But at least that's what I'm using to develop. I could have like the most amazing setup, but I think it's fine for now. And if I can run it, then it means that we're doing something the right way.
Mhm.
Yeah, when EF4 will be bearing down on you, the drops on the vehicle will be an afterthought. Yeah.
Maybe you can answer Nippy's answer. Maybe
What is
why
it?
did you go with Unity over Unreal Engine? Just curious.
I we actually I started the project on both and found out I had access to more resource with Unity. And at first, my first reaction or thought was that Unreal looks better, right? But then I realized that it's just that Unity is more raw, and you can make it look better or same as Unreal games. But it's just that you have to make your own post processing. I see a lot of. I mean, I started a project in Unreal at first, and it already looked like it looks now with all my post processing in Unity. Uh, so it's mainly because I had access to a bigger community, so more people to help with problems, better resources to learn. So I mean, I started working with Unity years ago now. It's been a while, and now I'm really efficient in programming in C Sharp instead of having to learn C++ for Unreal. So yeah, I think there's no engine better than I mean it's mostly for the user. If you're more if you're better with Unreal, then stick with Unreal. But for me, it was Unity, and it doesn't stop us for now, so it's fine. Mm.
Isaac is asking how's the cloud texture coming along.
Yeah, the cloud shaders, they're really as I mean, we posted a little preview of that, so now not only it looks like a cloud, but it's also animated, so it simulates convective movements in the cloud. So I think it's really cool. and it's gonna feel better for because obviously we're using weather data, but also separating it in different chunks of clouds, and all these clouds together makes the whole structure make sense. Um,
I just posted a link to this post we recently did to showcase our cloud shader.
mhm.
You guys can see how our clouds are starting to look like right now.
Here's some wall cloud effects. So like when I work on my weather effects, I just work on that test world here, and I just do the effects and make sure that they work well with the sun. And so that's why you're just seeing this wall cloud alone here right now. But you can see the dynamic. You can see like there's a tail cloud on the right side here, and that the whole thing is rotating, and there's it's condensing from the bottom, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that, and all together it makes it look cool. And it's all GPU based, so that helps also for it's not like particles that use your CPU. We're not planning on having winches and towing people, at least for now, because we want to have the main gameplay aspects working and fun first. That's all stuff that could be added to a list eventually if we ever wanted to improve the gameplay, if we feel that it's something that should be in the game or that would add something to the gameplay or not. Thanks for the comments about the Wildcard. So is that it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it covered pretty much everything. We answered a bunch of questions. As always, like we are super open. We have a question and feedback channel on our Discord. You can just ask us anything, or you can always follow our development on our Trello channel. And yeah, like that's unfortunate, but the truth is that the game development goes very well. Like you've been saying, like we're showing a lot of stuff, a lot of progress, and like we are de-risking the big part of the game right now, which is like the world and the web. It's just gonna really like impact the point where we wanted to start having closed beta, people starting to drive in our world, experiencing like the weather, and to start making those tweaks earlier. Uh, Obviously, if any of you guys have any experience with seeing games in developments, you know how sometimes it can be very bare bone and the world kind of looks empty and stuff like that. But it's part of the process. And we initially wanted to have people start testing our system much earlier, but unfortunately, we are in the middle of a world pandemic, so
Hmm.
it affects this kind of stuff. Um, Hopefully, well, Mark and I have the chance to have our day job unaffected by this mostly. We can work in remote and everything, so it means that we can keep developing Outbreak at basically the same pace. Um, but obviously, for like it affected some of our external partners, and that's just we have to deal with it. And we decided to be transparent with you, be very honest. Like this is unfortunate, but it's not that bad. Like I said, it does not delay, like it does not create a big domino effect on our systems. we can work on other things at this while we wait for our
Mm-hmm.
partner to come back on the project. And and yeah, it's still amazing, and we're very happy. We have a lot more stuff to show you in the coming up weeks, and still a lot of cool stuff to come ahead. It's not gonna be the last time we show our work, obviously.
Obviously not.
Obviously not.
So, I think we're gonna end this for tonight. I suggest we go and raid EA in LA. You've been hearing them in the background. They're really, really, really great musicians, and
Yes.
they are doing a 24-hour stream right now because they launched their new album, and they even had time. I don't know how to think about Outbreak, and so I joined their stream earlier today, and they were like, "Oh, Outbreak, I got something for you," and then they just had a melody in mind for the game, so it's pretty cool. They might even play it again if we raid them right now. So I guess let's just go there and spam some Doritos in their chat. So thank you everyone, and
Thanks for everyone.
we're gonna have a development update video soon, as we normally do, and we might even do some streams if we find the time. But obviously, we want to work on the game, and it's our priority.
Definitely.
So I love you all, and I'll see you soon.
Bye bye.
You were not the best. This letter is not up to my standards.
Outbreak, thank you for the raid.
Thanks so much for bringing your family over.
How was your stream? Welcome. Welcome in, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are CA